Are we meant to be silent?
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
I should have actually queued up the theme to Brady Bunch before we did this, so I'm sorry, but I didn't.
That would have been amazing. We're just silently looking at each other.
That is so all right.
Fair enough.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to the revamped Friday Big Bite. The Big Bite is back, refreshed, and hopefully a little bit more focused with the content we're going to bring you guys each week. So we've done a couple of things. We've moved the stream to lunchtime. Hopefully that works a little bit better for some of you guys. We have updated our graphics package a little bit for some 2021 freshness. Thank you, Phil and Rob. And most importantly, we're going to be, again, like I said, just a bit more focused each week, and that starts with themes. So this week is all about branding with the added lens of Black History Month. So we're examining brands that are Black owned or Black inspired and how their branding reflects that inclusion. So I'm going to go ahead and start us off since I'm already yammering. Here's the story.
Here's the story.
I'm going to start us off with a couple shares. So the first thing that I found is something a brand called Brooklyn Circus that is really cool, super compelling, and really it's kind of the cross of Black culture and streetwear. So I think you should be able to see it up now, right, Rob?
Correct, sir.
Cool. So what's really interesting about Brooklyn Circus is that, they are straddling this tension between telling the story of Black history and obviously being an apparel men's brand. They're actually leaning heavier into the editorial side. So you'll see as we're scrolling through the site, a lot of the content you're getting. First isn't the merchandise; it's the editorial. So it's the blog posts and the the kind of exposés and history that they're trying to tell. And it's really beautiful. It's really well done. Everything's super striking. But you can see, like right now, this is the homepage, and it's leading with all of this rich history and content instead of the actual shopping. Now you can of course go in and do the shopping, and the apparel is really awesome. And I did make a purchase yesterday, but when it shows up is when I'll actually show off what it is. But I think it's really compelling for a few reasons. But specifically, I think just the fact that strategically they're leading, with the rich history instead of leading with a product focus. This is an e-commerce site, but they're still using the narrative. They're telling the story and letting that lead, their audience to specifically, what is available for sale. So really encourage you guys to check this out. It's the bkcircus.com. Really, really cool apparel. And again, really, really rich history. Actually, what I'll do real quick is just click into one of these editorial pieces just to give you an example. It's zine-like in a sense, dating myself with that reference. But you can see just a nice expose, a long form piece that weaves in like any magazine or online editorial would, some really rich visuals. But again, it's cool to me that they're really prioritizing the storytelling first and the product second. So that's the first one that I found. The second one that I found is really, really cool. It's actually by a skincare brand, and it's called In Support of Black Joy. Let me just refresh it from the start again so you can see the intro. But this is super cool because it's a microsite for a skincare brand called Curology, and that brand celebrates Black creators in this Support of Black Joy campaign, and really just spreading joy, and it's celebrating those Black creators that find joyful things, to express themselves creatively. So I think it's interesting because it's a brand that's acknowledging the power and the influence of Black creators and celebrating it. And that's rad. Like history is one thing, but celebrating creativity and expression is just taking it to a whole nother level. And I think what's really interesting also is that Curology, as a brand, I'll quickly flip to their site property. You can see like this was set up as a separate campaign focused site experience. So they didn't have to rework their master brand property, which is pretty inclusive with the people that they're showcasing. But they didn't have to overhaul their master.com property in order to do a really cool and really compelling campaign. That was something they were able to just stand up as a side piece. And there's some really cool stuff. I hope you guys explore it. Right now, they've only got the first two out, kind of community chapter, the Joy of Community. and then the Joy of Movement, and then they have 2 more that are coming soon, which is pretty cool. So it's also building in some reason to go back. It's kind of parceling out the content. So ideally, over time, once you've been exposed to it, you'd keep coming back and finding reasons, to support and celebrate Black Joy. So just something that I thought was really, really cool and a lot of fun, and really in the spirit of the month and what we're trying to talk about. So that's all I had to share for today.
Dude, that is awesome. I have to say that with the Brooklyn one, the photography was phenomenal. So good.
Yeah, everything is great, and they do all sorts of different pieces. So there's some stuff's all black and white noir look, and then some stuff's got this really striking, vibrant color. So just a really cool site experience, and something that well, again, it's e-com. It's way more story driven, and I think that's really fascinating.
Definitely. Way cool. Way cool. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
I'm also going to take a very quick second to say a quick shout out to Andrew, newest dude on our team. So thanks for jumping in, man.
Yeah. Welcome, Andrew.
And everybody else too, obviously. We love you all, but everybody gets one special shout out. Except for Erin. She gets one every week.
That's right. I think I got to throw it over to Debo now. So, David, why don't you share with us?
Yeah, sure thing. Something that caught my eye just the other day in the headlines was Aunt Jemima just recently rebranded as the Pearl Milling Company. And it caught my eye because, it's been such a staple in American breakfast tables for over 100 years. But it's always faced controversy, and especially in 2020, they were called out for it, as well as a bunch of other brands. And a primary reason for it was, the term aunt and uncle was used as like a Southern form of address used with older enslaved peoples. So they were denied use of courtesy titles such as mistress and mister. And looking back at some of like the history of their branding and their newspaper ads, you can just sort of see how it was presented back in the 1800s and early 1900s as well. And it really just started out as a small mill in Missouri, and they used this pearl milling technique to make the pancakes, and that's how it became known as Aunt Jemima. And there's a bunch of other brands like this that are facing this sort of controversy, like Uncle Ben's, Cream of Wheat, Miss Butterworth. So these are all brands that are, changing with the times and updating that, just to, make more of a commitment to empowering and uplifting Black girls and women. They're also investing $1 million, which is part of a larger initiative by PepsiCo to support Black business and communities and increase Black representation. So I think it's a really important step in food and beverage to acknowledge all like the branding that they had used in the past, and it's a really important step moving forward. So it's good to see in the headlines. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Thanks, man.
Really cool. About time they did that.
Seriously.
Yeah, it's about time.
Those old ads are striking, let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
But I looked at the Pearl Milling. I just saw a picture of Pearl Milling Company's branding, and it was immediately recognizable to me. I'm assuming because of the font and the colors, but it's just inversed.
Yeah, it's not like they had really lost any equity with the typography. It was able to come through. Why didn't they do it sooner, I think is the question.
Yeah, the logical question, right?
Okay.
Pearl Milling Company was getting some hate for like how it's almost like the Washington football team is just kind of like a bland move, but apparently
There's some history to it. There's some rationale.
Yeah.
Just took some reading.
Bland or not, it's better. It's definitely needed.
Yep.
So I prefer bland
There's always
over.
a reason.
Yeah.
Well, on that lovely note, with Black History Month, there's a lot of good information that's sort of like bombarding our inboxes and our social media feeds and all these different websites. And, it's not always going to be this beautiful editorial, big campaign or, even a really well-written piece on the history of jerk chicken. So, what happens when instead of
Yes.
good content, you're talking about, a study conducted by the Economic Policy Institute about wage gaps and how do we make that more than just a string of words on a page that someone's going to sort of gloss over. So I found this company called Outgrow, and they're sort of maybe I shouldn't be even talking about this, but it's a no-code tool where you can sort of build your own, calculators and quizzes and things like that. And one of the things built using that was this, how much would you make if you were Black? And a really interesting piece of information is that the wage gap between Black and white people has actually increased since the millennium. So you'll see that if we just click on find out. Let's say you went to college, you make $65,000 a year. Let's see, what you would make. Here's your current salary. If you were Black, you'd be making $47,000 a year. But in 2000, you'd be making 50. So the wage gap is actually increasing, and this is just more of an interactive and personal way to show that instead of just reading. Oh, here's the study. Here's all of the information that we found. That you'd sort of gloss over and be like, wow, of course there's a wage gap, and then you sort of move on. Just being able to see it, the difference in the graph, and also putting it into context of personalization, which is really big. Of okay, here's my salary, but what if this was my salary? And this is the reality for people, and just seeing how that's changed over time. So this is just another way to show information that may be a little dry in a more interactive and personalized way to make sure we're using all the buzzwords there in marketing. So that's Outgrow, the content marketing platform. And the second thing I found is from a blog post on shaping design, which is a blog by another sort of website design firm and tool. And this talks about how the course of design history has been shaped by specific Black creatives. And they go through, there's a ton of good information here. I'm obviously not going to read through it all, but of course, some of the ones that really stuck out to me were some of the more recent examples, right? So if we go down here to the bottom, the 7-Up logo redesign from 1975, the Motorola rebrand of 1967. These were things that I was not even aware of that happened at the time, but like, we can recognize some of this stuff, and this is all done by the same person. So it's just really interesting to see all of the ways that design has been influenced in the past and how it sort of evolves even over time. You can see here, from 1934, here's a New Yorker cover. So it's just some really interesting information. It just goes to show that even though, this is a web design firm that put this on their blog, it doesn't have to be, super related to what you're doing. Like Andy shared, it's skincare, but then here's pictures of people moving. Like there's always going to be a connection to your brand, even if you don't think that there is one. So this is just kind of a good reminder of that as well. So that's all I've got. I believe Phil's up next. I'll try to look down at him, but I have no idea where he's at in the little grid.
Down and to your right.
Yeah, it'd be diagonal.
Down and to my right is Phil.
Oh, that was
Are you down
perfect.
there?
That was perfect. I love everything about this. I'm not going to lie. This is just amazing to me.
Stop sharing for a second. Everybody saw my notes.
Spoiler.
Now we're
alert.
just looking at ourselves, actually. So
Hey, that's all right.
that's fine.
Okay. Am I sharing now?
You're working on it. Yeah, we got it. Wait. Oh, yeah. Okay, it was very small first. It's very small again. Now it's not.
Hey,
Okay.
shares
Just
come in
go
all
for
sizes,
it. Just
you
go
guys.
for it.
Shares come in all sizes.
All right. So we good? We good?
I don't know why
Okay.
it keeps freaking out on me. So yeah, just go for it.
All right. So, um, what I'm sharing kind of reminded me of the second one that Andy was sharing, just in that it's kind of an extension of an existing brand. And so this is by Life Water, which I I was familiar with Life Water only in that I've seen their labels at stores and stuff. I hadn't actually ever purchased it, but I've always noticed that they kind of change up their labels quite a bit, and their branding has just always stuck out to me. Um, so I just happened to come across an article about some new packaging they came out with for Black History Month, and I looked into that and wanted to share that with you guys. So um, this is their homepage right now on their website. So they this is a series of new packaging that consists of 3 labels. And it's part of their Black Art Rising initiative, which they started back in October and have been kind of documenting on Instagram since October. And then they also launched an online exhibit to feature art from Black artists, who, especially artists that are underrepresented. And so this kind of it led me to learn a little bit more about Life Water as a brand, and I saw that their message and purpose is almost bigger than the actual product they provide. At least that's kind of the way that I saw it. And so they're a premium bottled water brand, but really what they try to do is promote and put a spotlight on art that you would not normally see. So their focus on Black artists has been much bigger in the last year, and you can go through on their website right now. These are the artists, they feature them all, and then if you are to click on any of them, it'll give you a little background on that artist, which, yep, here, down here. And then it also has like a gallery of some other art by that artist, which I thought was nice. The other piece to this, as I mentioned, is the Black Art Rising initiative that they started, which was kind of a call to Black artists to submit their work, which they then put into this online exhibit to showcase that more. You have to enable audio, but I'm going to turn that off because I'm not sure how that'll come through. But they kind of it starts out in a very storytelling kind of way, and then as you scroll, this is all scroll activated. The images pop up. You get some more copy. I encourage you all to look at this on your own so you can kind of take a deeper dive. But I thought, as an experience, just from a digital experience standpoint, it's almost like you're walking through like a hallway of a museum, which I thought was kind of cool. I don't know if that was their intention, but I thought it was kind of a nice connection, especially as we're doing things more digitally. But once you actually enter the exhibit, this is where it'll take you through some different artists, and you can see they range from recording artists, illustrators, things like that. But as you scroll, it has that same kind of animation where it's kind of zooming in past you as you go. It has some quotes from the artist, and then if you are to click on any of them, it'll expand it and give you a caption that was written by that artist. So really personal to that artist, using their own work and their own words as you continue throughout the experience. And it's all really seamless, and you can see how it goes right into the next artist. So I thought this was a great way for a brand to kind of take their existing mission and purpose as a company and like fully embrace the fight for racial justice, and especially like celebrating Black History Month too. It just came across as a more genuine way to do that, as opposed to something that's Black History Month only. So you can see, if you explore their brand, that they've been doing it starting in October, specifically this project, and I'm sure it'll continue on as we go.
It's a beautiful quote there about art. I
Yeah.
like that. I also like how most sites that are scroll jacked like this, that's what I call like scrolling through a website that isn't like a vertical scroll. It like takes you on a journey kind of. Most of them are very like jacky, right? Like it hijacks your expectations of how to use a website. But this one, I like that it stops when you stop. At least that's what I'm gathering from it. And then you could still click through, and it opens like a normal web page would. It opens, like a div or a light box of some sort. Yeah, with more information. I just think it's really, really well done. I've never seen one.
So it's more user control, it seems like, in this one versus scrolling your wheel takes you immediately from A to B, and you just get to watch the ride.
With like almost no interaction too. It seems like this there's actually like navigation and stuff.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Very cool stuff.
Great experience.
Yeah, and it's I mean, you're exactly right. Like it's a much more simplified version of that, because I thought that too when I first came to it. I was like, is this going to be kind of awkward to use? But it ended up being really smooth. So I'm not sure how well that comes across in this live stream. So definitely take a look on your own time.
You made it look very comfortable.
Good. That's it for me. I don't know if I stopped sharing.
You're good.
I'm going to hand it over to Jeff.
Actually,
Let's see.
Is it Rob?
No, we're actually done for the day. We got unless Jeff, did you wanna?
Yeah, it's kind of cool, but it's not incredible.
I bet it's cool.
Hey, we got 6 minutes before everybody's got to get back.
Right, let's see here.
So I say let's do it.
I mean, yeah, dude.
So
Go, Jeff.
you guys see this? Yeah.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet. Hold on.
We do.
Yours is the one that comes in like super large. So yours is the one that I always have to have some fun playing with. 2 seconds, 3 seconds.
You're welcome.
4 seconds, maybe like 12 seconds.
All right, so this is
Just
something
keep
that
counting
Hold
up, you'll
on,
be right.
hold on.
Yeah,
just gonna vamp
it's
it.
going
How's
up,
that?
not down.
It's from the National Museum of African American History and Culture.
All right,
The
okay.
Smithsonian. Cool.
Okay. Apologies.
So, kind of like Phil was talking about, there's something to be said for like an online museum, and just this obviously isn't as well done as the Life Water site, but you could still kind of take a look at their collection of African American history and culture. So there's tons of different topics. Each one has plenty of information about their topic. So let me just click on one, hip hop. It's just tons of entries and information and imagery and history, basically. But what I thought was more compelling was this 3D modeled version that they did. So obviously foot traffic in museums is probably way down these days. So what they did was they got together with this dude who's a lead engineer at Google. He's worked on a lot of like their map and their AR stuff and 3D modeling. And they've made specifically like Black history artifacts, inventions. This is an old refrigerator. These are Seba Johnson ski boots from the late 80s, like a bunch of pretty interesting stuff. And let me just show you like the level of detail.
These are all models. These are all 3D models that have been done of the original artifacts.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So this is like obviously two-time Olympian Seba, her ski boots, right? And I look at the bottom of these, I'm like, yep, that's exactly what a ski boot looks like. It's really, really cool, well done. It's almost like you're holding the object in your hand. So,
Dude,
people,
which you actually can't do in a real museum. This is amazing.
I know.
I've always wanted to do this.
But for like, I'm thinking of things like Strong Museum of Play. Like, how can we leverage our 3D modeling capabilities, which we have in-house, with a web viewable interactive version of that. I think there are some parallels that obviously be probably pretty expensive, but cool nonetheless. This is a refrigerator. I don't get it, but hey, someone did. Thomas Elkins got it way back when, 1879.
So cool.
So yeah, Smithsonian 3D modeled African American arts, history, culture exhibit.
Super cool.
I was surprised, pleasantly surprised.
There goes the rest of my afternoon because I'm going to be playing with that so hard.
You wouldn't think that like an egg carton, a super old egg carton, would be so cool to play around with, but it's like even the dilapidation is there and like the aging of it. 70 cents.
Really well done.
Are there any eggs left?
It didn't look like it. No.
It's a shame.
Yeah, no.
Oh, thanks,
all I got.
Lisa.
Aw. Yeah.
Well, that has been the first official lunchtime live stream Big Byte. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Seems like I know Lisa certainly did. Thank you for the shout out. Really appreciate you guys tuning in on your lunch break. We'll be back next week and same time, same channel. Check it out. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, y'all.
Peace.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, we're out. We're out.